What's up, everyone? It's Kanan.
It's Jessie.
And we're the Geeky Saying couple, and welcome back to a whole new RWBY video. This topic was suggested by a subscriber. Don't know how long it'll be because there's just not a whole lot of information, but they wanted to know who we thought may be the Summer Maiden, because out of the four maidens, she's the most mysterious. We don't know anything, really. I did read that there was an early draft of After the Fall that was supposed to feature the Summer Maiden, and she was supposed to save Fox, but it was cut, of course. I'm guessing because they want it to be, I'm guessing, a surprise when we see the Summer Maiden. I don't know. But there's a lot of theories when it comes to the Summer Maiden. We're not going to talk about any of the theories that involve Team RWBY becoming the Maidens, because RWBY has said that none of Team RWBY will get Maiden powers. Though I could see where people could see that where that's going, because Raven to Yang, Winter to Weiss, I guess Cinder to RWBY, though that kind of makes no sense if you ask me. And whoever the Summer Maiden would be somehow in relation to Blake, but I don't know how they would do that. But also, like I said, RWBY has said that none of Team RWBY will get Maiden powers. So that leaves us with just a lot of theorizing, really. And it is kind of funny because some of the Maidens, of course, I can't really think of anything about Raven that would relate Raven to Spring. But it's like, with the Winter Maiden, the original Winter Maiden's name was Winter. And now Winter is the Winter Maiden. And then, of course, you've got Cinder, whose last name is Fall, even though hasn't it kind of been hinted that Cinder Fall is not real, could potentially not be her real name?
I think so.
Because, Raven said, a name I'm sure, you picked yourself or something like that. I know the maiden before Cinder, Amber. Amber is kind of a fall name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you think of the amber leaves and stuff like that. So, name-wise, we've got a bit of connection here besides Raven. I don't know where Raven...
Birds come back in the spring.
Well, oh yeah. Yeah, you're actually pretty correct there. I didn't even think of that. So the big theory is the Summer Maiden is Summer Rose, which name-wise would fit, but the thing is, it's wild, because you and me both have gone on record to say that despite what Miles and Carrie have said, we don't think Summer is dead.
I really don't. If you go back and look at things, there's just too much open-ended for you to actually... The fact that there's no body.
And the fact that they've made her such a mystery, it's...
It'd be such a waste to turn around and say, leave her like this, so much of a mystery, keep building her little by little and feeding us this stuff, and then, in the end, find her, she really is dead. Well,
she's just some random skeleton on the ground.
I mean, it would be, like I said, a waste. We wouldn't get this much of this if she was actually dead.
Yeah, and then, of course, the whole her ending up like the Hound. We don't know enough to really come to that conclusion. For all we know, that's just RWBY theorizing that's what happened.
That's what it is, just because that's the first time they've seen
something like that.
And with silver eyes.
Yeah.
So, and I know the comment that Salem had said, but obviously Salem has come in contact with her. Yeah. And the thing is this is where the newest theory that I have, that Summer could be either the Summer Maiden or with the Summer Maiden. Because it just seems like, her again. Well, the thing is then obviously Summer knows of her. It would just, like how I thought that the Maiden could be the way they get out of the vault.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that theory.
I know, we'll get to that, but just so Summer could be in hiding in the vault, which will lead to more of that theory. But that just, I don't know, it just kind of fits in a way. Yeah. Because obviously, I think RWBY's, like I said, just talking. Like what
Well,
she thinks has happened.
Yeah,
nobody knows.
because she knows that Salem went after the Silver-Eyed Warriors because of what happened to Maria and all that. So,
and then what she said to Yang.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm just wondering if she tried to get her and she couldn't find her, which again will fit more with that theory. Raven also ties into that theory. So.
Yeah. Now this next one is kind of just something I thought of. So, of all the Winter Maidens that we've seen, Amber, before, Cinder took over, was a human, so was Cinder. Then that, Freya and Winter are both. Why have we not seen a Faunus Maiden? So part of me is like, what if the Summer Maiden is a Faunus? That would be interesting. Though, if they do turn out to be a Faunus, people will somehow link that to Blake, and we'll be getting Blake is going to become a Summer Maiden talk. But I don't know. All of them's been human, but Penny is there in the middle. She was a robot, then she became human. That whole Pinocchio story. So all of them's been, around the human level, I don't know, why have we not seen a Faunus Maiden? Is something, keeping a Faunus from being a maiden or something? I doubt it, but you never know. So now this next theory, the first person I ever saw mention this theory was Calaxon, and that is that what if the Summer Maiden is hiding within the vault, and that's how Team RWBY gets out of this world? Because as we've talked about, it really seems like the vaults connect to this world that they are in now, with the big old tree, and, all of us thinking that it's some kind of Alice in Wonderland, Valhalla, afterlife kind of thing. And, because it does very much resemble the worlds we've seen inside the vault. So maybe that's how they get their way out. They find the Summer Maiden. She's like, okay, kicks the door open, kicks them out, shuts it back, puts a do not enter sign on the front of the vault.
Which would make sense since nobody knows anything about the Summer Maiden, it does make a lot of sense for her to be in there. Because, one, that's gonna be the only way the door is gonna open. Is you need the maiden to open the door. So
yeah, and it's wild because when it comes to the Summer Maiden, it there's really been no mention about her, and but
we've not gotten to that part.
Well, it's kind of wild because it seems like Crow and all them knew who Amber was, because Crow was there when Amber got attack. So you're just assuming that Ozpin and Crow and all them knew about Amber and her being the maiden. They didn't know who the Spring Maiden was, though. But then they knew who the Winter Maiden was because Ironwood was keeping her under lock and key, and she was an older woman who was on the brink of death anyway. And it seems like they don't know who the Summer Maiden is, because it's almost like there's two maidens they knew about, and then there's two they had no clue about.
I think overall at one point in time they had track of that, but once things started getting bad again, the people that, the small group of them that knew of the maidens, of who they were, obviously things changed. They lost track of things, so obviously they could have known one Summer Maiden. If it could have changed to somebody else, and then they wouldn't have known who that person was because nobody reported it back. So, and that's obviously, I think that was probably more likely the case, because after so much time, you wouldn't know. I mean, same like Raven. I mean, Obviously she didn't say anything about it.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about, and maybe this is just me looking back with hindsight and all that. And, it's been a while since I've watched, Volume 2, Volume 3, which we'll be getting to that soon in RWBY Retro. Next episode of that's going to be dropping soon. I forgot. For the Vital Festival, why exactly was Ironwood there really to show off, just show off the military power of Atlas in case, Salem, who we didn't know at the time, decided to attack.
It was his so-called protection for the Vital Festival.
Okay, because it's funny that he showed up, him also being the headmaster.
That's another reason he was there, because
I know.
of the students.
But why weren't Lionheart and the Vacuo headmaster there for it? Now, of course,
they could have been, and we wouldn't. They could have been, featured them.
Yeah, I know. Like, they probably didn't have, they probably didn't even know what they'd look like at that time. But it's funny that at least one of the headmasters who didn't show up, Lionheart, turned out to turn on them. But then we have the one of Vacuo, who's been at least, it's been a while since I've read the novel, but I believe, they are in the After the Fall novel, but we've never seen, like, it just seems like Vacuo is this big old question mark, because we just haven't seen much of it in the show. It's been in the novels, and you use your comprehensive reading skills to picture it in your head, but it's like, I don't know.
I think at that time, like, the thing is they may have all been there, but, or at least the one from Vacuo would have been there, but they wouldn't have been, it probably was too early for them to be really known or how they're going to look, but they put the one, probably, the way that they did it, they put the next person that was going to be mostly featured, which was Ironwood. I mean, I know we saw Lionheart next, but Ironwood became the next role of the next person we were going to see more before Lionheart anyways. So, yeah. I don't know, it's
hard to say, because like I said, Vacuo we know the least about. And, like, it could be, like, I think we've learned that through, though it's kind of hard to say, because you almost want to say you might not have to be an actual nice person to become a maiden, because look at Cinder. But we got to remember, Cinder stole half of the power originally, and that's why the second part went to her, because it was. But then again, I wouldn't say Raven is exactly a good person either, and she was able to still attain it, even so. I don't think it's a morality thing. So
going around and destroying people.
I know, but my point is, who knows? We might meet the Summer Maiden and her not exactly be a good person. We just don't know. They could be, they're out in Vacuo, so they could be a mercenary or something. Like, they could be anything. They could literally just be someone of great importance, or just your average person living in the desert. We just that's the thing. We just don't know. It's this big old deserty question mark that we know the least about. We've got the novels to go off a little bit, and it doesn't sound like a very nice place. And we've only kept glimpses of it in the show. You had the one where Sun and Neptune were just standing out in the middle of it looking at their scrolls, and it didn't seem like anything bad was going for them at the moment. But then you have everyone from Atlas show up in Vacuo, and there's this huge-ass sandstorm going, and next thing you know, it's grim after grim after grim.
Though, because of the panic and all that, it kind of makes sense that all of a sudden all the grim that would have been, like, hidden we're going to come to the one heavily concentrated area of, like, panic and fear.
Good thing good thing Winter's there as a maiden, because I'm sure, hopefully, she's able to wipe out a good bit of them. And, like, it's so wild. Like, it seems like every time we get a maiden, they do some kind of swerve. Like, we literally thought for most of the volume that Vernal was the Spring Maiden. Then you get this big reveal that Raven is, and then you go through most of Volume 7 thinking Winter is going to become the Winter Maiden, and one of my best predictions come true, that Penny becomes it, and then Winter gets it anyway. I know a lot of people had a problem with that, but I know why they did it. If Winter had become the Winter Maiden at the end of Volume 7, she would have been nothing but Ironwood's puppet. By the time she gained the power, she was free of Ironwood's control. She was no longer listening to him, and,
Told him that.
Yeah, so that's the reason why Winter didn't get it right away. Because I know a lot of people were upset that, what was the point of Penny getting it? Well, it's so Winter could go through some character development before she got that kind of power. Because Last thing Ironwood needed was a maiden under his control.
Yeah.
That would have been bad. And it probably could have led to her actually getting killed by Cinder, because you just don't know. It seems like every time Cinder actually goes up against a maiden who is actually really skilled, no offense to Penny, but it just seemed like Cinder had Penny's number for most of the fights they had. But she got her butt kicked by Raven. I think Winter could have kicked her butt too if the fight had actually went on a bit more. But so yeah, it's really hard to say. All we can do is theorize. As far as who the Summer Maiden powers will end up going to, it's really hard, because
we can't really predict something like that.
Because for all we know, it could be a character that's introduced during the Vacuo arc. It may not be a character we already know. Because if I had it my way, Raven and Winter would stay alive, and they would be the spring. Because remember, guys, just because you're a maiden doesn't mean they automatically have death flags. I really don't see how Cinder could have more than one bit of maiden power inside of her. You would think it'd be too much. You would think it would be too much.
Especially since she's like part Grimm now.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go the way she thinks it will go. But if I had it my way, Winter and Raven would stay alive, being the Winter and Spring Maidens. When Cinder dies, because let's face it, it's going to happen eventually, I really think it'll more than likely go to Emerald. The Summer one, it's hard to say. Like I said,
we need more.
Yeah, it could definitely be a character that's not been introduced yet. So yeah,
But this Summer Maiden, she could very well be the one who keeps the maiden powers.
Yeah, she might not die.
Just because that goes with my theory.
It's gonna be Coco.
That goes with my theory that I had said, and we never continued on. Was
what one?
If it is Summer in the vault, if she somehow is the Summer Maiden, that was because I know there was some question about Raven getting to her. She's obviously would still have that connection from when they were a team, and if Raven can't find her, that means that her power would not cross through to that realm. So, I mean, that fits more with the theories that we've put with that. But, I mean, it's possible that Summer is the Summer Maiden hidden in the vault, or she's with the Summer Maiden. That's what I really think could be a possibility. Though, I still, either way, somebody's in the vault, and it's got to be the Summer Maiden. That's the only thing that would kind of make sense at this point with all the little pieces that we have so far. But as for who it would go to or who it is, we just don't know that yet.
And we probably won't know until either at least toward the end of Volume 9 or until we get into the full part of the Vacuo arc in Volume 10, because I still am going to count Volume 9 as part of the Atlas arc, because they won't be having outfit changes. They may have altered outfit changes, but, it's not a new arc until they get fully different clothes. So yeah, that's really all we've got to go on. Hopefully we will get a Volume 9 trailer very soon, and maybe that'll give some light on some things. Hoping we get a premiere date at the end of that as well. But that's all we've got for this one, guys. As always, this is Kanan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all, guys. We love you all very, very much. Please, if you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment. And as always, we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.